Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you guys are here. Today is going to be a continuation, kind of a video I did the other day with the 10 bigger USA made EDC knives, fixed blades. This video is going to be my favorite 10 undersized or smaller Paquite USA made fixed blade knives like this Magna Cut Amsler Tools Hurricane Mini or this Amsler Tools Magna Cut Pinion. Small little knives, both of these. One of them's a neck knife, one of them I carry like a ballpoint pen. But before I get too started on this, I do want to give a quick shout out and a thank you to all the channel members. Thank you guys and gals so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. You don't know how much, and you don't know how much I appreciate any of you guys and gals who come in to check out my knife, my EDC content. It means everything to me. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy it. If you do and you're so inclined, if you hit that bell notification and that subscribe button in the reverse order, that subscribe notification, then the bell icon, it'll really help me out and it'll notify you when I release new content. So starting out at what I think is number 10, you guys know I don't count very good, is this small Bradford G-Cleaver. The G Necker's the drop point, and it is a little hunk of Elmax with a Natrix finish that is a pretty basic one grip, maybe two knife, but it is a wicked Wharncliffe, very minimalistic with a lanyard tube, some skeletonizing in the actual grip. You've got nice jimping right there above where your thumb goes, and you've got a knife that is not thin by any means, but a nice, sharp, flat ground blade with an absolutely devastating point. The point on this knife is to die for. I was trying to cut it, but I couldn't. Anyway, very sharp, very reasonably priced. These things are well under $200, well under $100. I think they might be around $90. They come in different blade steels. This one, they're left a little bit rough, which I like. You got this rough cut on the handle. You get a little thinner up here at the blade stock. Nice flat ground Elmax blade. Very handy knife. It's a USA made winner. I really like it. I'm going to comment in here at number 10. And we will move on to number 9, which is another very economical little small offering. And this is the Tops Knives Hawke. The Tops Knives Hawke is a thicker tool steel knife coated to keep it from corroding because it is tool steel. I also put oil on it, but it's a very slicey knife. It's also very robust for what it is. It is a little guy with G10 handles with red G10 liners, made in the USA. It's got a little lanyard hole here at the end. This little guy is going to weigh in right around 5 inches, so it's going to come on the small side of my USA fixies, like one that y'all see soon that you've seen way too much. But this guy I think is right around $89 on Amazon. I will try to leave links to these, some of my affiliate links, so they're easy for you to find, but feel free to shop them on the Google. But this is the Tops Hawke, little small 1095 steel coated blade that really gets things done. Moving on, we come to a knife that right now I don't think is in production, but I do think it will come back. This is the Marbor knives, Marbor Handcraft Little Prick. The Little Prick is a wonderful little AEBL flat ground small little 3-finger knife that really grabs your grip with a screaming thin flat ground blade, right at 5 inches too. But guys, these little micarta handles and this flat ground blade really do work of cardboard, paper, rope, paracord, you name it. This will cut it. This will cut it well. It also acts as a a deterrent for Slurpee savers. It's got a nice little jabber to it and a splinter digger nonetheless. Comes with a Kydex sheath that I put an ulti-clip on. Retains it very well. It's also a nice taco sheath, so even if I took this clip off, I could easily pocket this clip. I would probably want to keep the grommet in it, maybe 2, just to attach the tightness to make sure I had it the way I wanted it. But this is the Marbor Handcraft Little Prick. It is a beautiful knife. Hopefully he'll come back and start making knives. These are little winners. Moving on, I think that's, let's see, 10, 9, 8. I think we're on number 7. So number 7 is, again, in my opinion, another great value knife. This is a knife I found on DLT Trading Company, and it is an LT Wright. It is called their Frontier First, which is one of their smallest fixed blades. And as you guys know, I like a small knife, I cannot lie. This is one of their more basics. These LT Wrights, when they drop, they will vary in price, many $100s, not because the blade steel is any different, but because the handle material is much more or less fancy. I chose one of the lesser fancies because what I wanted was a nice little sheath knife that was super sharp, that was USA made, that was made out of quality materials. This is Magna Cut and 6364. There's your LT Wright logo. You've got these micarta handles with these brass pins and a brass lanyard hole. This knife fits my hand great. It's going to be a little bit over 5 inches, but not much. 5.5. But again, just a great USA made small knife. I can even either carry it on my belt, or like I typically do, stick it in my back pocket. But that is the LT Wright Frontier First, and it's coming in at number 10, 9, 8, 7. So it was number 7, which brings us to number 6. And number 6, guys, is another, oh, I didn't say, this guy with the sheath at DLT or River's Edge, wherever I got it, in Magna Cut, was $95. It was under a $100 fixed blade. I thought that was a great price. I jumped all over it. I was on Amazon and I found this little guy. I've got an SE3 that I really like, a stainless steel, but I didn't have any of their tool steel models. And this is the Esee Candiru, which I think is their smallest little knife. It's got G10 handles. It's got a tool steel blade. It is very keen and very sharp. It is very, very small. It is a little guy with about a 3/4 inch flat grind. Very toothy, very sharp. You've got these nice, comfortable G10 removable handles. I'm thinking this is another 5-inch knife. It is USA made. You've got Candiru and Esee on this one side, and you've got Rowan on the other. Comes with this plastic sheath, which I'm not 100% crazy about, but I've learned that this clip works very good. This clip is also fully removable. If you just wanted to have this thin part to either put a next thing on or to put an ulti clip on or some straps, I just left it with this little clip because it goes on my belt just fine. I actually need to switch that around real quick because I've got it on the wrong side. I just noticed that. I apologize, guys. I wanted to keep this video short, but we're almost there. So bear with me. I'll try not to make this little mod here any longer than it needs to be. If I don't do it now, I will forget to do it, and then I'll go out to carry it, and I'll carry it backwards all day, and that'll probably be the day that I have to fend off my life with a bobcat, and I'll reach back for my little 2-inch Candiru, which will only make the bobcat mad, and it won't be where I thought it was going to be, and I will be, alas, screwed. So, we're going to flip it around, go bing, put that in. Whoops. Put that in. Put this in. Gotta kind of leave them a little loose so they can wiggle around and get themselves all where they need to be. And then finally get this one in. And we will have our ESEE Kandura not only down as number 5 and recorded, but we'll also have it modified. So now when I put it on the outside of my belt, it'll be set up right. I had it as an inside the waistband carry, but this one, the last time I carried it, I just clipped it on my belt. It worked great as an external carry because it sat so tall. And that is the ESEE Kandura. Candiru at number 5, which brings us to number 4. And number 4, guys, or actually this is number 5. And number 5 is actually a fantastic knife. One of my favorites. Any of these top could be interchangeable. This is my only Bark River knife. This is my Bark River Micro Canadian. It is a little small, kind of wide, slicey, convex ground blade with a micarta handle, lime green liners, G10 liners, super sharp. This is a little field dressing Skinner EDC urban knife that I use it for. That's just great for getting into packages, great for getting into envelopes, great for cutting through paracord, great for breaking down or getting into boxes. You name it, this little knife with its short blade and its generous handle is an absolute dream. The one thing that I was a little bummed about when I got this knife was this sheath. I wasn't 100% sold on it because I don't use a lot of leather sheaths. However, when I first put this on my belt and I realized how high it carried up on my belt, I don't feel it when I sit down. I don't feel it when I stand up. It's totally invisible. I forget I have it on, and it's probably one of the best sheaths that I got. But this is the ESEE Micro Canadian in 3V. I picked this up for about $145. It's a great knife. I can highly recommend it. At number 5, we will move on to number 4. And we come to our Carnivorous Cricket, our little custom Jason Grant S90V, little wicked Warncliffe, not only a slicer, but more of a cutter, more of a scorer, more of a detail cutter. That tip is something to be absolutely blown away with. It is a thick knife with a super thin grind. It is absolutely therapeutically slicey. It's got a tip that will go on for days. And then you've got this nice contour jimping that run around the entire body of this knife. You've got these 4 individual hand-carved jimps. But then if you look down at the chamfer that runs alongside this knife, it is spectacular. He's screwing on his handles now. These are G10 handles that are screwed on this S90V. And what makes this difference than a Jakeb, and why I call it the Carnivorous Cricket, is A, it's little and it's angry looking. You've got that deep hollow grind with that really pointy nose, and you could have an angry eye right there if you wanted it. But you've got these 2 little choils that fit my hand like a dream. The sheath is next level. Retention is great. I love it. It's one of my favorite USA made customs. Definitely my favorite Grant knife that he's done for me so far. His skills are up there. I'll put him up there with anybody, and he's getting better every day. I really love it. And this is my Carnivorous Cricket by Jason Grant, which brings us to number 3, which is an odd one to rate up this high, but this is a knife that I've been carrying the last couple of weeks, and it is an absolute banger. It's available at Amazon. I think it still is, and I'll leave an associate's link for it. It's about $140, maybe $150. It's CPM 154. It's called the Game and Trout or Bird and Trout, or no, it's called the Bull Trout. And it is one of the sliciest knives in my collection. It's got this tall, flat CPM 154 grind, or 154 cm grind. 154 cm. USA made by Tops. Small knife with the micarta handle that will make quick work of any material, whether it's a trout, whether it's an Amazon box, whether it's a thief coming after your Slurpee in the middle of the night, whether it's, you name it. I mean, this thing is an absolute cutter. It's got a fantastic jimping system where you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jimps. You've got an integrated finger choil that's integrated into the overall knife. Fits my hand like a glove. You got that burlap micarta. It did come with a leather sheath. I upgraded to an Artemis sheath that Artemis makes. They're a PPU sheath company. They make sheaths specifically for this knife because it's so popular. I love it. This is the Tops Bull Trout, and it's coming in at number 3, which brings us to number 2. And number 2, guys, I've got 2 of these knives. These are little finesse scalpels. This is my Denny or Tyler Denney Apprentice. This particular one is in crew wear. I have one of these that is an acid etched Magna Cut. He makes all of these by hand. This is a Gen 2. The Gen 2 is designated by the plunge grind, coming back a little bit further than on the Gen 1. Not a lot. The Gen 1 was fine. But then the fact that it's got screw-on handles as opposed to pin-on handles. And guys, this little harpoon blade of crew wear is as much of a paper divider. I don't even feel like it's cutting the paper. It's just spreading the paper. This thing is so freaking slicey, it would blow your mind. It blows my mind on the daily. The Magna Cut is just as slicey, and it's blade geometry, right? It's also hardness and proper heat treat. Tyler does a fantastic job and does all of his owns. But this was, I was wrestling between this being number 2 and number 1, and I had to keep number 1 what it was, so you guys will give me a hard time, even though it's probably the most fantastic knife in my collection in terms of small fixies. And I've got 3, and it is the Jakeb Creates Chikadee. This is the Chikadee that was sharpened by my buddy Kyle Coonley. This one's in Magna Cut. I picked this up on the secondary from Kyle, or from Lefty EDC. I also picked up one before this from my brother Honey Bear, and he made me a great deal on a full flat S90V. It was an older model, but I loved having the original grind. And then I picked up a 20CV new from River's Edge Cutlery when they dropped, because I'm kind of trying to get all the different blade steels that are offered in these little Chikadees. To me, I've got 2 Oak City leather slips that I can carry them in as pocket droppers, but I prefer to carry them appendix style with 1 strap because I don't even know they're there. They feel so comfortable because they're so small. It's a 5-inch knife with removable scales, so you can get behind those scales if you ever submerge your knife and you're worried about water getting back there. Guys, it is an absolute winner. Behind the scales, you'll find Jakeb Creates Maker's Mark, and you'll also find the blade steel of the knife that you're taking apart. This one being Magna Cut, CPM Magna Cut. but he works with all types of steel. I missed out recently on an L-Max drop that I was very interested in, but I didn't have the money. And there was a 3V that I had the chance to buy on the secondary when I did have the money, but at the time I didn't feel like I needed a fourth one, and I didn't get it. Kind of regret it, but that's life, right? I mean, guys, I love and have too many knives, but my EDC fixed blades are fantastic. I never thought I would be a fixed blade guy, and it's taken up a good part of the joy in my knife collecting, which is kind of odd to say because they're not as much, they're not as interactive, should we say, as maybe some of the folding knives. They're not as much engineering miracles. They're not as cool, so we say, where they have great action, they have great snap, they have great detents. They're just absolute little bruiser tools. And that's what I like about them. I like the fact that they're simple, that they're pokey, that they're stabby, that they get shit done, and that I don't have to worry about them breaking off on me. And they're fun to collect, guys. That's all I can tell you. They are great little users. I carry one every day as an accessory to my folder, and I love them. So guys, those are some of my favorite small USA made EDC fixed blades. I love each and every one of them. I hope you guys found this video informative, educational, maybe helpful. Maybe you saw a knife on here you liked. Maybe you saw a bunch you didn't. But I'm glad you're here, and all I want to do is take the time to say please look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Please look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart and choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.